States, Mitt Romney. Northern Virginia could well determine who the next president is, and I hope you make that decision to get me elected. You guys are the best, I'll tell you, and they give me such a boost of energy and optimism. I'm excited about our future. I appreciate their service for the country. So I would offer a moment of silence, but one gentleman doesn't want to be silent, so we're gonna keep on going. Let me talk about something else, and that is today we saw the headlines in USA Today, and they said that the median income in America has dropped by $4,300 per family. So these are tough times for American families that have work, and they have 23 million people who are out of work, or stopped looking for work, or underemployed. These are tough times, but you know what? Your optimism is my optimism. America's coming back. We're going to make sure that we have the jobs that we need. America's going to remain strong, and we're going to make sure that we remain the hope of the earth. Now, as we watch the world today, sometimes it seems that we're at the mercy of events instead of shaping events. And a strong America is essential to shape events. And a strong America, by the way, depends on a strong military. We have to have a military. We have to have a military second to none, and it's so strong no one would ever think of testing it. This president has done something I find very hard to understand. Ever since FDR, we've had the capacity to be engaged in 2 conflicts at once. And he's saying, no, we're going to cut that back to only 1 conflict. And so he's put in place cuts of almost $1 trillion, but with his budget cuts and the sequestration cuts, we'll have almost $1 trillion of cuts to our military. If I'm President of the United States, we will restore our military commitment and keep America the strongest military in the world. I would have expected that with 23 million Americans out of work, or having stopped looking for work or underemployed, I would have expected that when the President gave his address at the convention a couple weeks ago, that he would have spoken about the unemployed, but he didn't. I expected him to talk about a plan to get people back to work. Well, he talks about where he wants to get, but not how to get there. And we've watched him for the last 4 years, and what he has done has not helped. It has led to $4,300 decline in median income. It's led to unemployment being above 8% for 43 straight months. It's led to a larger and larger gap between the wealthier and the rest of America. His policies have not worked. How in the world he can go before a Democrat convention and speak to the nation and offer nothing but more of the same is beyond me. We want real change. I'm going to bring real change and get America working again. I looked at the text of his speech at the convention. I expected there to be some new ideas in there. There are no new ideas. He's out of ideas, he's out of excuses, and you're going to make sure in November you put him out of office. We have a chance. We have a special advantage in America, a number of them, but one in particular that hasn't been taken full advantage of that's going to get this economy going in a big hurry. And that is we have a lot of energy. I'm going to take advantage of our oil, our coal, our gas, our nuclear, our renewables. America's going to become. So number 1 is energy, and number 2 is trade, and number 3, education. We've got to help people get the skills they need for the jobs of today, and we've got to make sure our schools are competitive with the world. We can't continue to have schools in the bottom third of the world. I want to make sure we put our kids and the teachers and the parents first, and we put the unions behind. Number four, we're not going to have entrepreneurs go out and start a small business, or big businesses decide to build new factories in America if they think we're headed to the road to Greece. This spending massively more than we take in every year is killing jobs. It's one more reason why it's essential for us to cut back on the size of the federal government and live within our means. I will get America on track to a balanced budget. It's essential to getting the job growth we need. And one more let me mention. And that's, we need to champion small business. We need small business to grow and feel like this is the right place for them to risk and to hire people and expand. Small business has been crushed over these last 3.5 years. We're at a 30-year low in the number of new business startups in America. You realize about 2/3 of the new jobs created in this country are created by small business. The president wants to raise taxes on 1 million of them. I don't want to raise taxes. I like to keep taxes down. Regulation. Look, regulations big companies can deal with. But small companies get crushed by regulation. We've got to ease the regulatory burden on small business. And we've got to take off that big cloud that's scaring small businesses from hiring. We have got to repeal Obamacare and replace it with something that works. If we do those 5 things, I'm talking about, we're going to create about 12 million jobs in the next 4 years. You're going to see Americans to work again, and by the way, we're going to see rising wages again too, because there's going to be competition to try and hire people. That's what drives wages up. I want higher wages and more take-home pay for the American people. I don't want people getting crushed by higher costs and lower salaries and lower wages and lower take-home pay. That's my plan. Now, I'm confident it's going to work. Because I didn't just study the economy in school, I actually have lived in the economy for 25 years. Can do, we can make it happen kind of spirit is very much there. And if we just have a government that recognizes that by lifting individuals and celebrating success in America, we're going to have more of it, then you're going to see this economy come roaring back. What the president's doing is making government bigger and bigger and bigger. We don't need more government. It's crushing the American spirit. We need more entrepreneurs and innovators and more freedom for the American people. I want to restore to America the principles that have made us the hope of the earth. When the founders of this nation wrote the Declaration of Independence, they chose their words with care. And their vision for America was different than anything else that the world had seen. First, they said that our rights came not from government or the king, but our rights came from God. That was the first observation. And then they said among those rights were life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. You see, in this country, we would be free to pursue happiness as we choose. The government would not tell us how to live our lives or what kind of health care we could have, or what kind of business we could be in or not be in, or what we could charge for a product we made. Instead, we as free people would pursue happiness as we choose. And that innovation, that idea that free people, each going in their own direction, not being guided by a government, but each going in their own direction, would create the most powerful economy in the history of the earth. If we want to get America working again, we have to restore that principle. Those principles recognize the hand of God in the rights we have, recognize life, liberty, and our right to pursue happiness. It's time for us to restore the freedoms in America to get America working again. This is important. This is important, you guys. Become more and more like the vision of President Obama with a bigger and bigger government. I agree with you. The consequence of taking the wrong choice here is severe, because if we keep going down the path we're on, you're going to see chronic long-term unemployment. You're going to see no wage growth. That's what we've seen over the last 4 years. You're going to see the gap between the wealthiest and everyone else become larger and larger. That's the path he's put us on. And you're also going to see fiscal crisis at the doorstep, like Dyck was saying. There's a different path. The path I propose is going to get America working again. The path I propose will restore America's greatness so that we're strong abroad, we're strong here. America is coming back. This is the day we've got to come together and lock arms. We've got to work together. I'm counting on you, Virginia. We have